first, we have got to talk about this new Variety hit piece on Meghan and Harry. The headline, Inside Meghan and Harry's Falling Out with Netflix, and why the royal couple is struggling. And I mean, get with it, Variety. They've been struggling for a long time. Reading from Matt Donnelly's piece published on March 17th, the Sussexes' perceived, that must have been a lawyer's note, because it's a pattern of selling repackaged versions of the same story about their exit from royal life has exhausted Netflix. Quote, the mood in the building is, we're done, one Netflix insider tells Variety. Their bedside manner, meaning Harry and Meghan, has ruffled feathers in meetings. Meghan is said to, when she's on a Zoom meeting with Netflix execs, if something offends her or someone says something that meets with her displeasure, she just gets up and walks off. She just gets up and walks off, and she doesn't return for lengthy bouts of time. Continuing from the Variety piece, Rob, 3 insiders say Netflix chief Ted Sarandos is fed up with the pair, who, per 2 sources, have been known to text directly with the co-CEO about their projects, as do many A-listers who work with the streamer. Rob, first of all, I want to ask you this. Is it really that common for talent to text with Ted Sarandos, one of the most powerful people in the entertainment industry, directly? I feel like, this is just me, but I feel like this piece is trying to make that sound normal, because we've all wondered why exactly Ted Sarandos has kept the malignant cultural cancer that is Meghan Markle around for so long.
I think he's finally had enough of Meghan and Harry, which is why this piece finally was put out there. I knew Variety was working on this. I've known for about 2 weeks. And just to pull back the curtain a little bit, I think it's fun to listen to media insiders. The sources that I have at Netflix, I've been talking to, and they've told me, 2 of them told me, we've been getting a lot of calls from Variety. We feel like Variety is going to be working on this big piece. So the sources I speak to, the ones that Variety speak to, are really, really good sources. Let me answer your question, though. It is only insecure. It is only amateur talent that has to go right to the very top. This doesn't just exist in celebrity. It's like the person that walks into the bank and has to speak to the bank manager to make a deposit.
No, I think it would be like, let me speak to the president and CEO. Hi, JP Morgan Chase, get me Jamie Dimon on the phone, you know?
Yeah. Barbara Streisand did this when she didn't like how Suri was pronouncing her name. She called the head of Apple, or like she did, and they fixed it. And so this is such a Karen move. This is such a do you know who I am type of move. This is such a diva move that I'm not at all surprised that Meghan pulled it. But there are thousands of people that work for Netflix who are there to solve problems on all of Meghan's projects. She was given a point person, a really talented point person, somebody whose name is Point Person. Call that person. Meghan won't deal with that. She won't deal with anybody who isn't at the very, very top. And that's sort of a failing, I think, on her. That tells you more about her than anybody else. But just a little bit of interesting news just to show you how petty and how mean this has got. Ted just unfollowed Meghan on Instagram.
Stop it.
Just happened.
We're all 13-year-old girls at heart, are we not?
Are we not?
You know, this is incredible, too, by the way, you mentioning the point person that Meghan had. First of all, when you have issues like that, people like Meghan Markle, there's an apparatus around you and an apparatus around Netflix and a way of doing things. You know, your agent or your point person says, hey, we're having a bit of difficulty here. They bad cop, so you can always be good cop. And that point person, by the by, I believe Meghan had deputized to deal with the fallout over telling her father with his freshly amputated leg at Christmas time to fuck off. She had a holiday Netflix special to promote. You know, like she's not in her right mind. So then the next piece of like just juicy meat on this bone from Variety, quoting from the piece, 2 sources insist that Sarandos recently said he would not sit for a call with Meghan Markle unless a lawyer was present on the line. Again, these look like legal notes to me in this piece. The sources were unclear if Sarandos was serious or joking. A Netflix spokesperson says it's absolutely inaccurate. But I can tell you as a reporter, as a longtime journalist, when you front load a graph with that detail and then you back end that graph with denials and obfuscations, it's usually the top part that everyone knows is true.
You're absolutely right. A little hint here to the troublemakers. If on one of my Substack stories you see the word reportedly, that's legalese. That's a lawyer that's told me to put that in. If I say someone is acting erratic, that's a legal word for
code for drugs.
Right there, they're on drugs. So, like, if somebody's erratic, these are just little winks that we do all the time in the media. I loved reading this story. To me, it felt as if they got it. They got this story. The details were delicious. It got watered down a little bit by lawyers, but I think that's worth doing to get it out there. It's a great story. We know where the truth lies on this. And then today, to have Ted unfollow her and unfollow her projects, that's sort of exciting too. But there's something about these two and lawyers. We know that Harry is very litigious. He's gone after British organisations. They've threatened American news organisations too. This is their ammo. This is what they do. And so my reporting now is that Netflix needs maybe not be careful, but I think they're probably predicting this is going to happen, that I will not be at all surprised if Harry and Meghan now consider legal implications, legal responses to Netflix. My sources were telling me, Maureen, that they believe Netflix is in breach of contract. Not quite sure how or where. There's also too a disparity clause in the contract that they wouldn't say mean things about each other. And so far, Harry and Meghan have not said much about Netflix, but they believe Netflix are behind these leaks. This is what they accused Victoria and David Beckham of doing. Remember when they fell out for the Beckhams and it was because they thought Victoria was leaking? So I think they're building a case here. So I think Ted is very smart. Don't get on the phone with Meghan unless you've got your lawyers with you, because she's going to come after you. She's going to find a way to make this Netflix problem rather than a problem of the content she was providing.
If only these two had actual talent, they wouldn't get themselves out of bed in the morning and feeling alive by launching lawsuits hither and yon. I mean, Rob, when will entertainment CEOs get the memo? Do not get in bed with these two. It only ends badly. They just wind up trash talking you and suing you for their own failures.
Yeah, I think it started to happen. Netflix is arguably, Netflix and YouTube, the two biggest now broadcast entities in the world. I think YouTube in Britain just overtook the BBC. Its scope is so massive now. And as we've seen media change, as we've seen the way that we consume entertainment, it's changed so much. I watch you on YouTube. Like I watch many of my favorite shows now on YouTube. A lot of my friends don't even have cable anymore. And so I think that to upset the future, which is what Netflix is, or really it's the now and the future, it'd be better off upsetting ABC or CBS. It wouldn't matter as much. But to upset somebody like Netflix, who, let me be clear, celebrities bow down to, the biggest stars in the world want to work with Netflix. If Netflix want to have lunch with Nicole Kidman, she does it. If Netflix want to have lunch with Tom Cruise, he clears the schedule. So everybody important. Everybody smart in Hollywood knows this. The only two people everybody in Hollywood who's dumb knows this. Even the bad agents know that you shouldn't upset Netflix. They are the future. They are the now of broadcasting. And so for Meghan to pick this fight is really outrageous. My sources inside Netflix tell me they've been pretty much erased in the Netflix offices around the world, but particularly in LA. They used to have huge posters in the reception. Often media companies do this. If you walk into ABC, you'll see a huge picture of Robin Roberts. If you go into NBC, into 30 Rock, you're going to see Tom Yarmus, who's now doing the nightly news. CBS has Gail Kingup when you walk in the lobby. I'm told pictures of Harry and Meghan have been removed. There's no longer any.
Yes, and they've been putting out Meghan's overpriced, unmovable merch on like the giveaway piles for the underpaid peons over there. I think the Variety piece had it that Netflix is saddled with about $10 million worth of unsold as ever, or as I call it, a sever. Sever. Yeah, because they just sever ties wherever they go. What are they going to do with this stuff? It's the jams are perishables. You can't, even the hungry wouldn't take it. Okay, I want to move on to Timothée Chalamet Ding Dong.
You did it.
Okay, we've got one thing we're going to get to before your amazing exclusive. We're going to tease the troublemakers. Chalamet Ding Dong, who had tried to put on his best behavior in the waning days and hours before that ceremony, is reported. This is from Cosmopolitan. Great piece of reporting by Mahara Bonner, published March 17th. Eyewitness claims Timothée Chalamet Ding Dong and Kylie Jenner walked out of the Oscar ceremony for a full hour, quoting from the piece. Timothée and Kylie were replaced by seat fillers for an hour. An onlooker source tells the outlet. Okay, so they picked this up from somewhere else. It seems like Timothée had enough of being the butt of the jokes. I mean, what? He can slam ballet dancers and opera singers and he can't take his own shit?
He can't.
They only came back just before the Best Actress and Best Actor categories were announced. I mean, if there were awards for most classless nominees of the night, for female, Teyana Taylor, male, Chalamet Ding Dong. Rob.
They did leave. Now, let me give them a little bit of cover here. It's not total cover. I've been at this award show many times, and it's a long, boring night, and a lot of the celebrities go out to the bar in the lobby. It's a really fun place to hang. I left my seat to go to the bar because that's where all the big stars were really celebrating and drinking and getting a little bit sloppy. It feels very Golden Globes at this bar, which I thoroughly enjoyed. However...
It sounds fun, but you were not nominated for an Oscar you were gagging for, seated front row, dressed all in white, like an inpatient at a hospital for the mentally criminally insane, with your sex bomb girlfriend with cutouts everywhere, drawing all manner of attention to yourselves. I think this kid can't cut his own shit. He has no problem shit talking everybody else and saying that what he does is top level shit, but they poke a little fun at him and try to put him back in his place. And he's getting the message. This Oscar ain't yours, kid. They're giving it to somebody with a little more humility and a lot more talent. He couldn't take it.
He couldn't take it. But let me finish that point. He wasn't in the bar. He didn't go to the bar. They disappeared. Had Timothy and Kylie gone to the bar to hang out with celebrities and have a glass of wine, I'd be like, oh, that's sort of actually kind of like a cool thing to do. They weren't. They just disappeared. I'm told they demanded a private area, an area backstage where they could go and decompress or have a moment alone. And I don't know if it was anxiety. I don't know if it was arrogance. I assume it's arrogance. Mm-hmm. They disappeared for an hour.
He needed a safe space.
Yes, I think he did.
Oh, I'm sorry. The guy who played the tough as balls underground ping pong champion of the world is actually a wimp. He needs a safe space, a padded room to deal with the rejection of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Rob's exclusive. Timothée Chalamet Ding Dong didn't skip the Dune 3 premiere. He wasn't invited. You published this March 18th. Quote, he's become a distraction, one insider says. Every question would have been about the Oscar loss and Kylie, not the movie, and the cast was relieved. This is an all-star cast. Timmy's just one of many. He's nobody special here.
Yeah, this is a groundbreaking. So just 2 days after the Oscars, this was scheduled. It'd been on the schedule for a very, very long time. So don't believe that he had a last-minute cancellation or a change of schedule. Mm-hmm. They did this deliberately, and it was actually quite good PR because when they scheduled this, everybody thought they would have an Oscar winner sitting in that room.
Yes.
And so if I was the movie company, and let's be honest, before you, Maureen, before the troublemakers, he was the favourite.
I know.
Win. In the beginning of the award season, not at the end, but in the beginning, Maureen, I'd given in. I thought he was the winner. I thought you and me were just going to have to suck it up and he was going to win. It is really shocking that he didn't win. Well, everybody at the new movie company that it's coming out in December, they thought, gosh, this will be great. Timothy will win an Oscar on Sunday. And on Tuesday, he'll be sitting in front of the press. We might even bring his Oscar out. This will make our movie so classy.
Oh, he definitely would have. That thing would have been soldered to the side of his body. He hanging from what his genitalia used to be.
And so he didn't win. And then they felt too, the last week, like we all felt, something's changing, something's happening. And I think the PR people who were really smart at this film decided it's just a distraction, because every question I would ask every other reporter would be to Timothy and ask him, why did you lose? Was it your arrogance? Was it Kylie? Like, that would be the whole discussion of that press conference. So instead of having him turn up, he sent a taped video, and Robert Pattinson and Zendaya held the press conference, did a beautiful job of it, plugged the movie. And so they didn't want him there. And so it's fascinating already the dynamics have changed.
Rob, how much of that do you think was the publicists, the studio themselves saying it's better if you sit this one out? Because when it comes to talent at that level, they're never told no. They're never told no. Like, I personally think his ego couldn't take it, and he just wanted to stay at home and lick his substantial wounds.
Yeah, I've been in those rooms. I've been in those talent rooms where we're like, we just don't want this star to turn up. In the 90s, nobody wanted Michael Jackson at their events. Like, it just became something that you just don't want them there. And so you have the conversations, and then the head of the studio makes a call to Timothy's people, and there's a discussion. He probably didn't want to be there either, so it worked out well here. I find that when talent doesn't want to do something and you don't want them to do it, it's easy. Where you get a problem is if you don't want them to turn up, but they really want to be there. He missed the premiere of Dune Part 2. So he's already got a track record of not showing up. So I think when he was told contractually, you should be there, but we will be fine if you don't come to this press conference, I think he was relieved. I think his people was relieved. I don't want to feel like Timothy got off the hook here, but I think the movie company was probably very relieved too.
Rob, what do you think we know the best thing for him to do would be to disappear for quite some time. I noticed, I believe it was within hours of the Oscars, I don't think 24 hours had elapsed, he was back on his Instagram promoting Dune 3. I thought maybe this would just humble the guy just a little bit. Just let the movie studio deal with the promotion. Just go quiet, just be quiet. Like, don't be like, hey guys, I'm back already. 60 seconds elapsed. Did you miss me?
Right. That's who he is. That is who he is. I don't think if he was going to be able to learn something from this, he wouldn't have got himself in this mess, because he would have learned something during the process. He clearly doesn't learn. He clearly doesn't take advice. He's clearly listening to nobody but himself. And that's why he's in the position he is in.
Your liver does more than you know when it comes to regulating energy, hormones, digestion, and even your mood. But stress, toxins, and processed foods are constantly overloading it. What can you do? Introducing Peak's Liver Detox Protocol. This two-step system is gentle and powerful. Peak leverages nature's most potent botanicals, minerals, and vitamins, combines them with their cutting-edge extraction technology, and creates supplements that make a difference. Their protocol has two main parts: a strong Sri Lankan turmeric mixed with cinnamon and black pepper that helps your body absorb the formula better, and a spicy Sri Lankan ginger combined with cinnamon to support your immune system, improve blood flow, and help with digestion. This all leads to less bloating, steadier energy, and a clearer head. No miracles, just consistent well-being. Peak elevates nature's best with cutting-edge tech, pure, effective. Ditch the fads and commit to intentional health. Unlock 20% off and establish your powerful foundation for sustained well-being at peaklife.com/the nerve. That's PIQUE life.com/the nerve.
This movie gets closer and closer. The